I'm here with Ron Holland at P3, Santa Barbara, California. Ron, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm enjoying the process, the whole pre-draft process. I came out here right after my season for Ignite to come work on my game and get better and prepare myself for the NBA draft.
We last spoke in August. It was before the G League Ignite season. I talked to you, Manas, Itan Almansa, expectations for the year. Mm-hmm. You guys were so bad, they folded the team.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call us bad, but I feel like, teams that took advantage of us being young. Mm-hmm. But I feel like at the end of the day, we gave it our all, and we went out there every single night, competed. Coach Hart, all the coaching staff, they just gave us hope. We never really hung our heads. Every single day in practice, we would always work. We'll never come in practice like, we losing, hang our head down. No, we just on to the next one. Let's just keep getting better.
I mean, I think that's the one thing anybody watching that team can say is that you guys did compete. Mm-hmm. It's like you get 2 wins on the year, but every night you're competing your asses off.
For sure.
And there's progress happening. Regardless of the results, putting those aside, for you, you've won a lot in your basketball life. You have gold medals. You've been with Team USA. You're a highly accomplished player. Were there lessons learned in the losing this year? Like, what did you learn from that?
For sure. I would say the lessons I learned, like basketball can humble you. Like you said, I went from doing all types of winning in high school, and when I stepped to the season for Ignite, I wasn't. On paper, I really wasn't the best player. You know what I'm saying? You got vets, people that's been in the NBA that know what it takes, that's done that, and then you got dudes that's in the G League that is hungry just as much as us. That we all got the same dream, we all got the same mindset, that killer mentality. We trying to kill everything in front of us. So you got a team that know what they're doing, and they all the same age or within the same age. They got great vets. We got great vets, but when you got 17, 18, 19-year-olds on a lot of, like 7 of them on the team, it was difficult for us. But I feel like we had spurts where we figured it out, and so we came out with some wins, came out with some tough losses, but I feel like we did a whole lot of learning throughout the year.
You mentioned those spurts. What do you think was your individual best game of the year? Like when you look back, you're like, okay, that showed who I can become.
That's tough. I feel like I couldn't go back to a specific game. I feel like I had quite a few games where I can be like, oh, this is definitely what I can see myself doing in the NBA. I would say the preseason games for sure. The Perth games, both of them. I had a few good Santa Cruz games. The first game of the season we won, which was Stockton Kings, I had a great game against them.
What was good about that game against Stockton?
That was our first win. I feel like that was the best thing about the game. But I was just scoring, rebounding, defending, just making winning plays, things that I normally do. I feel like one thing about me, whether I'm winning or losing, my winning mentality doesn't go away. I'm trying to build my team to keep my team going with me. Like I said, I'm doing everything it takes to win. Even if we do lose, it's like my mentality does not change.
And I think, with you, that's like when we talked to each other last August, we talked about kind of that winning attitude and like the defense you bring to the floor. Do you feel like defensively there's ways in which you've even improved a lot this past year? Like, how have you gotten better defensively at becoming somebody who can bring those winning qualities?
I feel like I was one of the best defensive players coming out of high school, and I feel like I definitely proved that. I got my ways to go being a defensive player. I feel like one year I can get Defensive Player of the Year. I have the right tools to do it, but I know once I get to the NBA, I'll be ready to defend, but I know I have a lot of things to work on and learn, and that's okay as long as I'm willing to do it. I feel like that's all it takes.
So that's the bar you're setting for yourself. Like you want to be like Defensive Player of the Year, all defensive team.
I definitely want to put my name in that conversation for sure. That's just a part of the winning mentality that I have.
And so, one of the things I'm interested with you, it's like I think with your game, we talked last August about you need to improve your jumper. I think that's still the case now. But one of the things with the Ignite is you had such a significant on-ball role. Mm-hmm. Do you think with your game, by like scaling down, like you're playing with like other great players, a great point guard, whoever it might be, that like that could make you a more efficient offensive player? Is that, like, do you see that path for yourself early in your career?
I definitely see that path. I feel like throughout my whole career, coming from high school, if you look at my freshman year, I played with a lot of good players, and I didn't really play a lot. I played with Jabrian Hill, Micah Peavy, dudes like that, dudes that was on ball, and I had to learn how to be a role player. And I feel like my role grew for the next 3 years, and my role changed even bigger. But I still had to be able to play within a team because I was always around great players. So it wasn't I was just the best player on my team and I'm taking 50 shots a game. It's I gotta wait my turn to get my shot, and once my time to get the shot, I gotta make sure I make it, and I'm just making those plays.
I mean, one of the things that I think could be good for your game in the NBA is like handoff actions, getting you kind of like slingshotting towards the basket, where you can use your downhill scoring ability, maybe make a pass out of that. That's something like finding a kick out for a corner three, whatever it might be. Like I think with NBA motion and movement and spacing, that could unleash you in certain ways. Is there a kind of an action that you think you could really fit in, whether it's a specific team, player, system, that like where you watch basketball and you're like, okay, I could do what that guy's doing?
There wouldn't be a specific action. I feel like I can do a lot of different things on the floor. Whatever the coach needs me to do, I should be able to do it. But watching Mikal Bridges and Jaylen Brown, those guys, the offenses them two run and their role in their offense, I can definitely see me playing their roles on really any team. But if that's not the case, whatever the coach has me doing at that moment, I feel like it won't take long and it won't be that hard for me to figure it out and be able to thrive in that role.
I mean, those are two interesting comparisons because Bridges in college at Villanova, he was a guy who improved his three-pointer every year. Mm-hmm. Jaylen Brown entered the NBA with a shaky three-point jumper. He's improved every year, become reliable, and sometimes like he just catches fire where he can go off. With your jumper, what is the gap between where you are now and getting to the level of those guys? Like, what needs to change? Is it mechanical? Is it strength in your lower body to get that generate that power? Like, what is it that needs to get better?
I think it's all that. When it comes to mechanics, consistency, and just holding my follow through, it's those little things. Obviously, I'm building strength with Ignite. I did a great job. The weight trainers did a great job of maintaining that and seeing what I needed fixed. But I feel like that's what I've been working on recently is just holding my follow through, just not doing too much movement with the ball. And if you go back and watch film, all the 3-pointers I made or there was really good misses. I mean, a miss is a miss, but there's a such thing as good misses. If I'm not moving the ball like that, I have a really, really good jumper if you go back and watch the film. So once I get that consistent, I feel like that's when things will take off for me.
With your teammates this year, I'm curious about your thoughts when you saw Matas Buzelis challenged Zachary Risache to a one-on-one.
I seen it. I called him right when. No, actually, he sent the link to the. It's a group chat with some of the vets and me, him, and Dink. He sent it in there. We was just hyping him up, but I was like, nah, that's real though. Like you may have started something like this draft. They talk about how we're not really that good, and we probably one of the worst draft classes because we ain't got no consistent number one pick. But I'm looking at it like we got a bunch of really, really good role players. It's not that you don't need to be an all-star your rookie year. I feel like we have a lot of dudes in this draft that can go in the NBA and play a really good role. I feel like with him challenging Zach, I feel like that started a really good. It's competitive. It shows how competitive this draft is. I mean, you got some of the top dudes that's been top dudes since high school, and you got dudes that's overseas. You got dudes that's on the come up, and it's all gonna show at the combine.
I mean, I think this year's draft class, you hit the nail on the head. Mm-hmm. Yes, it might lack a Victor Wembanyama, like a clear cut, no doubt superstar, but it has a bunch of guys who have high floors.
Yeah, for sure.
I think at a minimum, you're going to be a good role player. At a minimum, you're going to be a really good defensive player who could potentially be on some all defensive teams. You're going to be a guy who always brings effort. At a minimum. At most, possibly, you could become somebody your shot improves significantly, or if it's the years to come, you become better at creating for teammates, and maybe there's star upside. I think that what is true about you is true about Buzelis. It's true about a bunch of guys in this year's draft class. I think the weak knock on this draft class is just totally off base. I'm
not hearing that that. When I hear people talking about this class being weak and stuff like that, I just look at it I mean, we just gonna let them talk. We just gonna prove ourselves.
It's a motivator? It's a motivator.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a motivator. I mean, you got NBA vets that's just talking about the class. It's nah, we just gonna not really pay attention to that and just show y'all what it is. It ain't really much to say.
So you're here at P3 training with a bunch of guys, some of your former teammates. Tyler Smith is here, Devin Carter from Providence, Cody Williams, a lot of different guys. Sar, who you faced last year with the Perth Ignite games. Do you guys talk about that?
Yeah, we definitely talk about that. I was just talking to Alex about that the other day. I was messing with him about one specific play. there was like a transition, and I was in a situation to where I had to pick one. Like I had to pick who I'm going to guard and pick who I'm going to take away from scoring. And it was Alex, and then it was their little point guard. And I took away the little point guard, and I seen him throw the ball back to Alex. So I stepped up. I kind of like jabbed at him. And if I would have stayed there, he would have dunked on me crazy. Like that would have been ESPN top 10. Like I'm like, nah, I moved out the way. It was just a funny moment between us for sure.
You mentioned earlier, like I'm curious, like with some of these guys that you're training with right now, how would you describe your personality? Like when you're in the locker room, when you're on the team bus at practices, like what do you like?
I feel like I'm just like it always been. I'm always bringing a lot of energy within a room or the bus or anything. I light up a room when I walk in there. I'm always making sure everybody good in a good headspace so we can all be on the same page. And whether we going to a game or going out to eat, it's just make sure everybody just having fun doing whatever they're doing.
So it's like you try to be a vocal leader.
For sure.
Yeah? Like you like the lead? Is that something you enjoy doing?
I love that role. I feel like I've been a really good leader all my life. It's just something that runs in my family, and it's just the trait that I took with me. I feel like I have the right qualities to do it. I got a loud voice. I got a deep voice. I like to talk, and I don't really just be saying anything. I make sure I know what I'm saying so people can understand what I'm saying. You can't really, going into the NBA, 18 years old, I know for a fact I'll be playing with some vets, and they don't want no rookie, 18-year-old rookie walking up on them talking to them like an 18-year-old rookie. It got to be grown man talk.
What's the biggest knock that you've heard about your game from NBA teams in your conversations?
I would say, I think you hit it on the spot, the shooting consistency. But that's one thing. Like, I mean, that's just. I feel like I'm working on it. Like, it wasn't that bad. If you go back and look, like dudes that's all-stars in the NBA right now, probably wasn't coming into the NBA shooting their best percentages, but they kept their head down, grinded, put in the work and the effort, and they are where they are now. So I feel like I definitely have a good amount of time to work on my game, work on my jumper, and become that all-star I feel like I want to be.
If you could download a move from a current NBA player or a past NBA player, like into your own brain, into your own mind, what would that move be?
The Dame Lillard hard dribble sidestep. The game winners he done made, I feel like I'm really good at just being able to shoot the ball off the dribble comfortably. And I've been watching him do that move every single time when it comes to game winners, or that's one of his go-tos when it comes to just late shot clock shots and game winners. I feel like that's one move I'll definitely put in my game.
What's the most memorable moment of your basketball career so far?
I would say winning my U17 gold medal. I feel like that was one of the most difficult games I played, playing against Spain in Spain. I really wasn't able to hear my coaches in them, so we had to just go out there and play. I was playing with really good players, Cooper Flagg, all them. That was a really good team that we had, but Spain also had a lot of really good players. That game came down to the wire, and just enjoying that moment with the guys, it was a big moment for me. And then after that game, just seeing my family and how proud they were of me, it was a heartwarming moment.
Do you keep in touch with those teammates?
I could definitely talk to them, but yeah, not on a day-to-day basis, but I definitely stay in touch.
You mentioned Cooper Flagg. He could be the number one pick next year going to Duke. What's your assessment of his game? Cooper's
different. I mean, the world has seen a lot of great basketball players for sure, but at a young age like that, you don't see too many basketball players like that. The IQ that he has, the physicality he has, just the feel for the game that he has, it's not really, you don't see that a lot. And I've played with him. He's young for sure, but mentally and maturity-wise, he's not young at all. Like Cooper is a grown man for real, if you think about it.
It's interesting. I mean, how like everybody's on a different trajectory. Like you said, how Cooper Flagg, he's already kind of a grown man and all that, right? Like skills-wise, physically-wise. Like right now, the rising star in the playoffs seems to be Anthony Edwards. People comparing him to Michael Jordan right now.
Sure.
What are your thoughts on that?
I feel like the MJ Anthony Edwards comparison it's good to hear for sure. Like definitely putting your name next to Michael Jordan, I couldn't imagine how that feels. But honestly, like that's a GOAT we're talking about. Like like I said, it's a good feeling. I'm not taking nothing for Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is on top of the world right now, but Michael Jordan different. Like it's not even much to discuss. But I definitely love the comparison for him.
Michael Jordan's your GOAT.
I be changing this answer up a lot, but I know for a fact he one of them for sure.
I mean, just as long as you don't say Paul George like Brandon Miller did last year.
Paul George is different too, but Goat Wise is crazy.
That was so funny last year when he said that. People were like, "Does this dude know basketball?" He said, "No, my goat, my
you gotta
idol."
Think about that though. Like that's Brandon Miller's favorite player. So
yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying?
I remember I interviewed Brandon Miller like December of his season, like before, like long before he said that he like raved about Paul George to me. He's like, I love everything about Paul George. So like it kind of didn't surprise me when that came out. So like you mentioned winning, U17 gold medal. So you've like had the basketball dream for a long time. We've talked about before. When did you first kind of get introduced to the game of basketball?
I would say I was like 5 or 6 years old. I just grew up around a competitive family. My uncles was always around, so I didn't ran track. I didn't play football. I didn't play basketball. But once I feel like basketball was just, it took all the energy I had as a kid and it just channeled it. Like I was able to have fun, go home, focus on school, and it was just something that I felt really good doing. But I also really enjoyed football. But I hit high school in Duncanville, if you don't know, is one of the top football teams in the country. Like it's not even up for debate. And I had to make some decisions. I'm like, my freshman year, I'm probably 6'5", 170 something at the time. I'm not gonna make it on the football field. Not on the number one team in the country football team. Not gonna happen.
Could be a star tight end.
Nah, not gonna happen.
Big
not
defensive end.
That's what I played in middle school.
Oh,
but
D?
Yeah, not gonna happen. Not at Duncanville. It's football is different in high school for sure, especially in Texas. But once I made the decision to just play basketball, I locked in on it. I feel like I can really do something with the game, change lives, change my own life, feed my family. And then around sophomore year, I realized like this is something I really want to do. I can see myself making a living out of this and just being able to give back to the community and just show the world that I'm one of the best to ever play the game. It's just definitely, I figured that out my sophomore year.
What's your biggest motivator?
I would say my biggest motivator is my family. Just knowing how we grew up and how happy they look when I'm having fun and enjoying the game, and they see how passionate I am about it, and it makes them be passionate. I feel like just keeping that in my head every single day when I play the game of basketball, that just keep me going for sure.
You said they've been out here in Santa Barbara to me before we started the interview. That must be really nice to have your family out here, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. We up in the mountains, so just being up there with my family, just enjoying the view, just chilling with them, cooking good food, playing good music, having good vibes going on. It's really heartwarming.
Does it feel like the best time of your life kind of right now? Like, where are you at? Are you, on a high right now, just feeling good?
Mentally, I feel like I'm definitely at one of the best times of my life right now. Just enjoying the time until stuff get real. My dream is coming around. It's right around the corner, but I'm really enjoying this time, just focusing on myself, focusing on my family, and being able to just live life. Because I know as soon as I get drafted, my dream has definitely been accomplished, but the work starts there.
I mean, you talk about the work, it's coming soon. Like we're recording this early May before the combine, before like team workouts are going to really start rolling and all that. Your draft stock has fluctuated. Some people have you still top 3. Some people have you, a little bit outside the top 10 right now. Like it's varies greatly. Does it matter to you to get drafted high, or like is it more about best fit, best situation for your career?
I definitely have the number one pick mentality. Like I want to be able to say I'm the best available player in this draft, but I also want to be able to be put in the best situation for me, because once I go to a team where I'm able to do what the coach asked me to do, and I feel like it's very good for me. I'm a very versatile player, so I'm able to step inside the offensive area and be able to dominate there and play defensively. I feel like I'll be able to have a great longevity career.
And last question, what do you love about basketball?
What I love about basketball is numerous amounts of things. I love how it just takes away a lot of stress and pressure off you when you got other stuff going on inside life, and you can just step in between the lines and be able to just breathe and be able to just relax and just play the game you love for fun. I also love how it's able to change lives, like people that don't even play basketball that's just influential into the world, like LeBron James, that then changed the game of basketball, but they then also change lives off the court. They persuade people, they influence people to just keep going and push their dream, and no matter what it is, whether it's basketball, whether it's becoming a doctor, just people's backgrounds and stories just keep other people going. Like, oh, he didn't give up, so why should I give up? That just keeps this world going, and I really love that.
Well, Ron, I appreciate you taking the time to chat today, man. I'm rooting for you. Good luck through this whole process, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.